This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
Could you talk a bit about supply of donor sperm in Australia and what the state is at the moment?
Right. Okay. This is a whole episode in itself. So obviously there's 3 or 4 groups of patients who need particularly donor sperm. The first is obviously the medical issue that about of those patients who are infertile, something like 3 or 4% of them, the male has no sperm at all and we can't generate any sperm by medical or surgical means to inseminate eggs. And that group obviously need donor sperm. Beyond that, there's obviously the group of women who are either single, who at this point in time suddenly, without Mr. Right, decide that they want to have a baby. That's usually not sudden, and most of my patients who are in that category are in their late 30s, early 40s, are wanting a baby through using donor sperm and prepared to look after a child on their own. And then the third group is obviously the gay couple, the 2 ladies who want to have a baby, and to do that they've got to use donor sperm. There are multiple websites where you can pick up donor sperm, but I warn everybody against them. They're not properly tested, and there are issues in the future about who the father is, and they may have produced multiple families because whatever their bizarre view about world is. What you get in a fertility clinic is a very controlled situation where, for instance, in New South Wales, we can't produce any more than 4 families. So it's highly unlikely that there's going to be an issue in the long term of a half-brother meeting a half-sister. Very rare, very unlikely. And then increasingly, as that group now get access to fertility care because of those changes in Medicare, we're getting an increasing demand. In Australia, we do have a philosophy that, as some people would believe is vital to life. I'm not vital, that's a strong word, but is morally the right way to go, which is don't pay people to donate things because the wrong people will want to come forward and earn money by donating sperm or eggs or blood or kidneys or whatever. So the ethical view at the highest level, at government level, is that all donations should be altruistic. And sperm is not too bad because the guy doesn't go through much at all just to produce a sample. Some people might say he even enjoys it, but it's far more than that for that individual. He's got to go through blood tests, he's got to go through counselling. It's not straightforward. But in any case, they don't get paid anything more than the taxi fare to the clinic. So we don't see lots of sperm donors. In other countries around the world where they're being paid $500 for a sperm sample, then there are supplies. And so for most clinics around Australia, it's not domestic sperm that we use, it's actually international sperm. There are very reputable clinics who do all the right tests, who do all the right counselling, who do all the right things when they work through an IVF clinic. There are other sources internationally which are not so well controlled. So donor sperm, almost every clinic around Australia can offer donor sperm because of those international sperm banks. There are shippers bringing sperm in almost on a weekly basis to Australia because the supplies in Australia are so low. But they come with everything laid out, genetic testing, making sure that they don't have any gene mutations that potentially end up with an abnormal baby. They're tested for infections, HIV and all of those. They're highly tested, which makes them quite expensive because, for instance, genetic testing is $600 or $700 Who's going to pay that? Well, the donor, the recipient of the donor has to pay those extra costs, and then shipping into Australia, etc. So it's not a cheap process to bring sperm into Australia. I mean, at Life Sydney, we charge patients the cost that it costs us, which is around about 1,500 Australian dollars per straw, which is per treatment cycle of IVF. That's what you're looking at. And then if you want to reserve that sperm for the future, you've obviously got to pay for multiple straws. It's not a cheap process, but it's doable. And if you really want to have a baby and you are in any of the categories I just mentioned, that's the way to go. We've at Life Sydney Australia, as at Sydney, we are probably the cheapest of the groups compared with the the other big units are charging significantly more to keep their corporate profits going. Our view is that these are important samples and it's important that women who want to get pregnant can do it at the most economical rate, and I think we do that.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.